This woman may look like she is dressed for a fashion show and in her designer duds, but the wannabe socialite is actually on trial for swindling hundreds of thousands of dollars from unsuspecting people.
In today's world, social media makes us believe that wealth equals happiness, with everyone showing off their luxurious lives. But behind the filters, many are faking it hard. From celebrities to influencers, some are pretending to be rich, and the truth is far less glamorous. Join us as we expose 15 people who got caught pretending to be rich. Number 15. Lil Tay. At just 9 years old, a Canadian child took the internet by storm, boldly declaring herself the youngest flexer in the game.
Everybody knows me. I'm the youngest flexer in this game.
Oh my goodness.
Don't ever doubt me.
She quickly gained a massive following on Instagram, where she was frequently seen posing with stacks of cash, luxury sports cars, and high-profile celebrities, particularly rappers. Her online persona revolved around flaunting extravagant wealth, claiming ownership of lavish properties, and looking down on those who weren't as rich as she appeared to be. However, beneath this flashy facade lay a different reality. Given her young age, it was clear that the lifestyle she portrayed couldn't possibly be her own. In truth, the entire act was orchestrated by her family, who saw social media fame as a potential ticket to real wealth. The carefully crafted illusion drew millions of views, as people were both fascinated and skeptical of how a child could acquire such riches. As her notoriety grew, so did the questions. Who was she really? Where did all that money come from? And, perhaps most importantly, where were her parents in all of this? Over time, the answers to these questions would begin to surface. As it turned out, Lil Tay didn't actually own any of the luxury items she flaunted online. The truth behind her extravagant lifestyle came to light when it was revealed that her mother, who also acted as her manager, had misused her professional connections to create the illusion of wealth. Her mother worked in Vancouver's real estate industry, and according to her former boss, who later spoke out on Good Morning America, Lil Tay had been filming inside high-end properties and posing with luxury cars that didn't belong to her. None of this had been done with permission. Once these details surfaced, her mother was fired from her real estate job for exploiting her access to multi-million-dollar mansions to stage her daughter's viral content. It was also revealed that Lil Tay's brother played a key role behind the scenes, acting as the cameraman and helping to mastermind their social media strategy. The family had orchestrated the entire scheme in hopes of turning viral fame into financial success. After the controversy erupted, many of Lil Tay's videos were taken down from social media. However, traces of her infamous flexing can still be found online for those who dig deep enough. Remnants of an internet persona built on illusion.
I'm a 9-year-old millionaire and I be smoking dope, bitch. Shut your mouth before I smack you, auntie.
Number 14. Sam Cooke. Imagine soaring to financial success, making hundreds of pounds a day in the stock market, only to find yourself facing fraud charges shortly after. That's exactly what happened to British teenager Sam Cooke. For a time, his rapid rise to wealth captured headlines across the UK. He claimed that before diving into stock trading, where he reportedly amassed a staggering £17.5 million, he started out by importing and exporting goods. Even more astonishing was his assertion that it all began with a modest £2,000 loan from his father. However, beneath the dazzling success story lay a darker truth. Investigations revealed that Cooke had been operating fraudulently, leading to 6 charges of financial deception. He had swindled his closest friends and family members out of a combined £110,000, convincing them to hand over their life savings with promises of lucrative returns. In the end, the law caught up with him. A judge ruled against him, sentencing him to 2 years in prison. Proof that even the most convincing tales of financial triumph can sometimes be built on deception. Number 13. Anna Sorroken. Meet the infamous Anna Sorroken, though depending on how you know her, you might recognize her by a different name. Anna Delvey. Your perception of her might vary depending on which identity you're familiar with. If you knew her as Anna Sorroken, you might have believed, or at least been led to believe, that she was a wealthy heiress with an $80 million trust fund, poised to launch one of the most ambitious art foundations New York had seen in decades. Believe me, those who knew her as those later wished they had never met her at all.
So I'm gonna take even more risk and I'm gonna do even more because no one is going to see me coming.
Anna Sorroken was actually born in Moscow in 1991. Her mother was a typical housewife, and her father was a truck driver. They were an ordinary middle-class family, but Anna didn't seem to embrace this medium-class life. It all began in 2013 when 22-year-old Anna moved to New York and made friends with some of the city's most prominent businessmen, investors, and socialites. She gave them a false name and claimed to be the daughter of a billion-dollar Russian oil tycoon. She started living in five-star hotels, dining at upscale restaurants, and wearing the newest fashion. The only issue was that she hadn't paid for any of this. Over the course of 10 months, Anna was charged with stealing over $275,000 from New York's elite under the false pretense of repaying them.
Anna copped 3 years in jail for her scamming, but remains unrepentant about what she did.
The truth is that Anna was a cold-blooded con artist who had no problem stealing from the wealthy to benefit herself. One of her former friends claims she was defrauded of $60,000 because she believed the lies Anna told her, and Anna even went so far as to try to obtain a $22 million loan from the bank to fund her art project. She was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in 2019 for her larceny crimes, but was released in 2021 for good behavior. She even claims the prison guards treated her like a celebrity. Number 12. Bernie Maidoff. On December 11, 2008, the financial world was rocked by the revelation that Bernie Maidoff, a once respected banker, had orchestrated the largest Ponzi scheme in U.S. history. His fraudulent investment operation deceived more than 37,000 people, spanning high-profile business leaders, everyday investors, and nonprofit organizations.
Many people point to that and say that it must have been legitimate because he was able to raise that much money.
Initial estimates placed the total losses at nearly $50 billion. While some prominent investors chose to remain silent about their financial ties to Maidoff, a handful of well-known figures, including Larry King, John Malkovich, and Kevin Bacon, publicly acknowledged their losses. Even today, Maidoff's name serves as a stark warning in the financial world, reminding investors of the devastating consequences of misplaced trust. Financial advisors often cite his scheme when stressing the importance of due diligence, record-keeping, and skepticism toward too-good-to-be-true returns. For many victims, Maidoff's betrayal was more than just a financial blow. It wiped out entire life savings, leaving them scrambling to recover. Over a decade later, some are still fighting to rebuild what they lost, proving that the effects of financial fraud can linger for a lifetime. Number 11. Tai Lopez. Depending on who you ask, Tai Lopez is either a marketing mastermind or one of the most inventive con artists of modern times.
Well, how are you going to learn from the greats of the past when YouTube didn't exist? How are you going to learn from Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, Albert Einstein?
If you've ever spent time on YouTube, chances are you've come across his ads, where he promotes a lifestyle of success, ambition, and financial freedom. With a massive following across social media, Lopez presents himself as an authority on business and personal development. However, much of his advice leans more toward motivational slogans than concrete strategies. His catchphrases like "learn to earn" and "turn everything you touch into gold" sound inspiring, but often lack real substance. Regardless of whether his guidance is effective, one thing is certain: his online presence has made him incredibly wealthy, with his videos amassing hundreds of millions of views across various platforms. Lopez's rise to fame was built, at least in part, on the "fake it till you make it" philosophy. One of his most well-known videos, in which he invites his followers on a virtual tour, showcases a luxurious backyard complete with a large pool and stylish decor.
I'm here in the backyard. They're asking me for like a little crib-style tour, so it's a pretty cool house.
At first glance, it seems to be his personal estate, until internet sleuths discovered that the property was actually listed for rent on Zillow. This revelation cast doubt on many of his other claims, leading to increased skepticism about the authenticity of his success story. Lopez has openly admitted that much of his wealth is tied to renting rather than owning assets, a strategy he claims makes the most sense given his current circumstances. While some critics have pointed out minor flaws, such as a misspelling of the word guaranteed on his website where user reviews are posted, many feel that a millionaire could easily afford a spell checker. Despite these imperfections, Lopez seems to embrace the criticism, recognizing that it boosts his visibility and engagement. In his world, negative attention still drives traffic, and any publicity is good publicity. As a result, he continues to rake in substantial revenue from his online courses and various business ventures. Number 10. Lil Bo Wow.
Bow Wow did briefly address the Plain Picture Live on Instagram Wednesday. He says, quote, he has nothing to explain.
Lil Bo Wow, who gained fame at a young age with chart-topping hits and acting roles in films like Mike and Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, was once the darling of hip-hop fans and child star enthusiasts alike. His popularity soared in the early 2000s, but as is often the case with child stars, that level of fame doesn't always last. So, what has Bo Wow been up to lately? Has he embraced a more private lifestyle, stepping away from the spotlight? Not quite. Much like some of his peers from the 90s hip-hop scene, Bo Wow has tried to stay relevant by flaunting his wealth on social media, though it hasn't always been believable. In 2017, he posted an image of himself boarding a lavish private jet, seemingly on his way to New York.
That's Bow Wow right there, and he writes, so this guy, Lil Bow Wow, was on my flight to New York.
The only problem? It was later revealed that the photo wasn't actually taken by Bo Wow, but was a stock image from a VIP transportation service, exposing his attempt to fake luxury. Afterward, a real photo of Bo Wow on a commercial flight surfaced, highlighting the stark contrast between the two posts. It's a clear example of Bo Wow's attempt to create a false image, and the fact that the lie was so easily exposed makes it stand out as a particularly poor attempt at maintaining his public persona. Number 9. The Fake Prince. For a total of 205 years, the Montenegrin royal family ruled over the country twice. Stefan Cernetic claimed to be a prince in the dynasty and consistently referred to himself as His Imperial and Royal Highness. That's quite a mouthful. Stefan claimed to be the hereditary prince of Montenegro, Serbia, and Albania. He spent years mingling with the elite and sharing pictures of his opulent lifestyle on social media. He drove a black Mercedes with Montenegro flags flying, earning the admiration of numerous high-ranking members of various royal families. Shockingly, none of his claims were true. The truth is, Stefan Cernetic is nothing more than a fraud. Montenegro hasn't had a royal family since 1918, making his self-proclaimed aristocratic status entirely fabricated. Yet, his deception ran so deep that by 2015, many speculated that he had even convinced himself of his own elaborate lies. That year, he famously bestowed a noble title upon actress Pamela Anderson, who addressed him as Your Highness, and was given the title of Countess of Montenegro.
Who's this prince? Can't he do something?
I'm sure he would do that for you if he did it for me.
Yeah, I need to be made a lady.
Yes.
It was a spectacle of impersonation and deceit taken to absurd heights. However, the entire facade eventually crumbled, exposing the fact that his so-called royal lineage was a complete sham. The real identity of Stefan Cernetic remains a mystery, but one thing is certain: whoever he is, he has a lot to answer for. Number 8. Shaun Kingston. It's both disheartening and oddly fascinating to watch former music and movie stars desperately try to maintain their relevance by flashing fake wealth on social media. Shaun Kingston, the American-Jamaican singer behind early 2000s hits like Beautiful Girls, is a prime example of this trend. Though his music once topped the charts, it seems that the royalties from his hits are no longer funding his lifestyle, and certainly didn't cover the extravagant jewelry and properties he tried to buy. In 2016, Kingston walked into a high-end jewelry store and purchased a $300,000 necklace. However, when it came time to pay, he told the store that his money manager would handle the transaction. Unfortunately for Kingston, his manager's attempts to settle the bill were unsuccessful.
The pair accused of acquiring luxury items but scheming never to pay for them.
2 checks bounced immediately. This wasn't an isolated incident. Kingston had previously faced multiple lawsuits for failing to pay for jewelry, with legal claims citing more than $20,000 in unpaid bills. Despite these mounting financial troubles, Kingston continued to flaunt a lavish lifestyle on social media and in his music videos. The facade eventually crumbled. In 2017, during a court case, Kingston admitted that he had less than $500 in his bank account and was unable to cover his legal expenses. This was a far cry from the image he portrayed in his hit songs, where he sang about wealth and success. At the time, Kingston revealed he was living with his mother, with no property or vehicles registered in his name. His story serves as a reminder to pop stars and entertainers. There's no shame in living a modest life, and it's far better to be real and responsible with your finances than to keep up the illusion. Number 7. Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy shot to superstardom in 2009 after his hit, Kiss Me on the Phone, went viral. He is also the famous singer of Crank That. Even though Soulja Boy's greatest hits are already rather far behind him, he occasionally makes claims on social media that he is the greatest in the industry and extremely wealthy. Rapper Soulja Boy recently told the media about the online scams he has committed and how they have made him a household name. Do you recall the well-known file-sharing website LimeWire, where users could upload music and movies and share them with people thousands of miles away? Soulja Boy, who was better known at the time, used this site to promote his now famous hit song, Crank That. The song, which was unknown at the time, was registered on LimeWire multiple times under different usernames. He made sure to mislabel the song's title by using the titles of well-known songs that were already top 40 successes, rather than calling it Crack That, which was the true title. Imagine searching for a popular song like Temperature by Sean Paul in 2006, one of the biggest hits of the year. You download it, eager to hear it, only to find out that the track you received isn't what you expected. Instead of Sean Paul, it's Soulja Boy's song playing. Soulja Boy's clever marketing strategy relied on the idea that listeners would eventually warm up to his music, continue playing it, and even share it on peer-to-peer platforms. While this approach might have been innovative at the time, it's essentially the same as getting tricked today. Despite claiming to be quite wealthy, Soulja Boy's actions don't always line up with his claims. He once posted a video showing off stacks of cash, but if you look closely, you'll see that the money is actually just blank sheets of paper with money printed on them. Adding to the oddities, he's faced criticism for allegedly buying luxurious homes and flaunting expensive watches, only for people to discover that the properties were actually rentals on Airbnb. Soulja's persistence in maintaining this image of wealth on Instagram has led to repeated calls out by followers who notice the inconsistencies.
Y'all know what it is, youtube.com/Soulja Boy. Go get my new album, Swag 4, out right now. Follow me on Instagram, @Soulja Boy.
It seems that, despite his attempts to portray success, Soulja Boy's journey reflects a deeper truth. Constantly seeking validation through material displays is a fruitless pursuit. Number 6. Allan Iverson. Over the course of his 14-season career in the NBA, Allan Iverson earned a staggering $200 million. But where did all that money go? You could point to the real estate agents who sold him numerous luxurious homes, or the jewelers who supplied him with gold and platinum chains. Iverson became a symbol of excess, flaunting a lifestyle filled with beachside properties, expensive jewelry, and entourages of glamorous women. However, when the bright lights of the NBA faded and Iverson's career came to an end, a harsh reality set in.
A brilliant defensive play by Iverson, giving up more than half a foot to Russell.
A diamond business in Georgia claimed that Iverson owed them over $1 million in unpaid bills, highlighting his lack of financial preparation for life after basketball. Despite being regarded as one of the best point guards to ever play the game, many fans were disheartened to see Iverson struggle financially in retirement. The takeaway is simple: earning wealth is only part of the equation. Without proper financial management, even the biggest stars can lose it all. Unfortunately, this was the fate of the NBA legend, Allan Iverson. Number 5. Johnny Mitchell. Love Island, the hit reality TV show from the UK, is where we find our next so-called millionaire.
It is the most popular show in the country.
No, it's not.
Love Island.
The premise? A group of women, all decked out in makeup, are placed on an island with a bunch of self-absorbed men. They pair off, and that's pretty much the gist of the show. The concept, though admittedly shallow, has captured a large following. One contestant, Johnny Mitchell, became known for trying to prove to the world that he was living the high life after the show. Like many in today's social media-driven culture, Johnny took to Instagram and other platforms to project an image of wealth and success. His profile showcased him wearing designer clothes, driving expensive cars, and jetting off to exotic destinations. He managed to convince many of his followers that he was indeed living the life of luxury. However, the illusion began to crack when it was revealed that Johnny's life wasn't as glamorous as he'd made it appear. Sources close to him disclosed that the luxury home he posted about was just an Airbnb rental. The expensive car was actually his father's. His holiday photos were years old, and his fancy watches were fakes. It became clear that Johnny was merely attempting to portray a lavish lifestyle online, and his followers quickly caught on to the deception. Number 4. Sadel Jung. Vacations can be expensive, so it's only natural to wonder how travel bloggers manage to afford their seemingly endless trips. Do they have wealthy families funding their adventures? Or are they working while traveling and only showing the highlights? Sadel Jung, a Hong Kong influencer with over 165,000 followers on Instagram, is a prime example of someone who might make you ask these questions. She often shared pictures from luxurious destinations, and with her large following, she was even recognized by Apple Daily as a key opinion leader. However, her image as a globe-trotting jet-setter took a major hit in 2018 after a scandal unfolded. Jung posted a photo from a trip to Italy, captioning it with the hashtag #TravelWithSadel and claiming to have taken the shot herself of the stunning Amalfi Coast. But one observant follower quickly pointed out something odd and called her out. It turned out that the photo was actually taken from an online tourist brochure, not her own camera. This revelation sparked a wave of skepticism among her followers, leading many to question the authenticity of her entire feed. As the truth came to light, it became clear that many of her posts were fabricated. Jung began to delete over 90 of her posts, including images of food she claimed to have prepared herself. Ironically, she had even appeared on TV shows, discussing her authentic travel lifestyle, all while her online persona was built on lies. Her attempt to fake it until you make it ultimately backfired, serving as a powerful reminder that just because someone has a large following on Instagram doesn't mean their content is genuine. Number 3. Ja Rule. Another example of an established hip-hop artist who seems unable to know when to step away from the limelight is Ja Rule. Ja Rule didn't really take off after a few successes in the 1990s, and as a result, he kind of lost his fame until lately. He is another person who enjoys using social media to spread the word that he is wealthy.
Hip-hop is very influential. I've done things in my youth.
He even attempted to pull off the mother of all scams. After becoming involved with some dubious business investors, rapper Ja Rule, whose actual name is Jeffrey Atkins, founded what was known as the Fyre Festival with Billy McFarland and ended up embroiled in a $100 million lawsuit.
Now we're joined by Billy McFarland, the Fyre Festival founder himself.
Atkins and McFarland envisioned the Fyre Festival as the ultimate luxury music event, an exclusive experience unlike anything the world had seen before. Marketed as the most extravagant festival ever, it was set to take place on a private island once owned by Pablo Escobar. The event promised an unforgettable party, complete with A-list performers, lavishly designed villas, and supermodels from around the world mingling with guests. With ticket prices ranging from $1,000 to a staggering $250,000, eager festival goers shelled out thousands in anticipation of the experience of a lifetime. The buzz was enormous, with social media flooded with images of paradise-like settings, fueling the excitement. For many, it seemed like the perfect blend of luxury, music, and exclusivity, until reality set in. As it turned out, much of the money funneled into the Fyre Festival seemed to disappear into Billy McFarland's pockets. By the time the event finally arrived, attendees were met with a scene of complete chaos and disappointment. The promised luxury villas? nothing more than leftover disaster relief tents hastily set up on the sand, without air conditioning, making them barely livable. Instead of the gourmet meals prepared by world-class chefs, guests were handed styrofoam containers filled with a sad combination of cheese and lettuce, a far cry from the lavish dining experience they had been sold. Ja Rule, who had attached his name to the festival as a co-organizer, quickly found himself caught up in the fallout. Disgruntled ticket holders and investors launched numerous lawsuits, including one massive $100 million lawsuit targeting both him and McFarland. In the end, McFarland was indicted for fraud, exposing the entire festival as one of the most infamous scams in modern entertainment history. While Ja Rule continues to present himself as a successful rapper and entrepreneur on social media, the reality is far more complicated. He and McFarland remain entangled in legal battles, with McFarland personally liable for millions of dollars in damages. What was supposed to be the most glamorous music festival in the world, instead, became a textbook example of deception and failed ambition. Number 2. Elijah Oyeso. Elijah Oyeso, a self-proclaimed city trader, made a name for himself on Instagram by flaunting an extravagant lifestyle. He frequently posed with luxury cars, including a gold Lamborghini and a Rolls-Royce Wraith, boasting about his financial success. According to him, his wealth came from binary trading, a skill he allegedly discovered at 18. He claimed to have started his journey by investing leftover student loan funds after leaving Buckingham University, and often insisted that he only worked an hour a day to maintain his fortune. However, true financial stability isn't just about showing off. It's about being able to settle debts without resorting to desperate measures. Oyeso's facade of wealth began to crumble when a court case revealed that he had borrowed money to buy a Land Rover and failed to repay his creditor, Dennis Ofosu. Instead of resolving the matter responsibly, he attempted to run Ofosu over with his car in a shocking act of recklessness. During his prosecution, the judge accused him of fabricating his financial success, exposing his supposed riches as nothing more than a carefully curated illusion. As a result, Oyeso was sentenced to 2 years in prison for reckless driving and possession of a dangerous weapon. Number 1. Gold-plated car. In cities like Dubai and London, it's not uncommon to spot wealthy individuals cruising in gold-plated Lamborghinis or Range Rovers. The extravagant trend of gilding luxury cars has become somewhat of a status symbol. However, one man in India learned the hard way that trying to emulate this trend can sometimes have embarrassing results. In an attempt to look like an oil tycoon, he decided to gold-plate his car. But instead of the smooth, shiny finish he was hoping for, the wrap was poorly applied. Over time, the gold plating began to peel off, revealing the car's original black color underneath. His attempt to appear wealthy backfired spectacularly when a photo of the peeling wrap went viral, exposing his attempt at faking luxury. Rather than exuding the glamorous image he wanted, the car ended up doing the exact opposite, highlighting his failed attempt to fake wealth. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.